This week in Artificially Informed, Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire with a T off of the largest IPO in history. Yay! Jeff Bezos came out of retirement to teach AI how to build jet engines. 30,000 firewalls got cracked wide open by passwords nobody bothered to change. And Washington is putting a chatbot on the same shelf as fighter jets. This week, this and more on this week's edition of Artificially Informed. Thanks for joining us on a federal holiday. I'm Logan Edmond, your host.
And I'm Patrick Herter, founder of Your Network Security. Glad to be back.
I know, right? It's been a while. So yeah, we're going to be pre-recording this, guys. It's a holiday. Sorry, we got things to do. So if you're engaging us in the chat, post your comments, please. We love to read them, but just fair warning, pre-recorded session. We're going to dive into this week's session, though, with a big story. And I actually kind of mixed it up because the big story I think this week is government, but I want to save that for last. So let's talk about business and finance. Mr. Bezos, Jeff Bezos, the man with the Chrome Dome, he has gone ahead and he's a CEO again, and he wants AI to build jet engines. Whew. Okay. There's a lot here.
Big dollars. Big dollars.
So the company's called Prometheus, which tells you a lot. And like how Prometheus stole fire from the gods and got chained to the rock for eternity. Jeff Bezos has named the new AI company after him, and he raised $12 billion with a B. And Prometheus is currently valued at $41 billion. It's co-led by Bezos and Verily, co-founder Vic Bajaj. And it marks the first time Bezos has ran a company since he stepped down as Amazon CEO in 2021. It's done a Series B, which means it's done several rounds of fundings, and some of its investors are JP Morgan, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, all big names, right? And the pitch is what Bezos is calling an artificial general engineer. The idea is the AI is built to compress the design and manufacturing of physical things, from jet engines to chips to medical devices. Basically, he's trying to reduce design work on the engineering side from a decade average timeline to more of a matter of months to design and implement new things. And it's got about 150 people working for it out of San Francisco, London, and Zurich. So it's a full-blown company. I have so many mixed thoughts on this. First off, what do you think when you hear I want AI to design airplanes and jet engines?
Well, I mentioned when we were looking at the list of articles that we were choosing this week that I have a mix of FOMO and jealousy here, because to have that extra funds to start up a company that can support 150 people and not stress out about your own retirement is pretty cool. To be able to potentially advance human society in this way. And I mean, even just coming off of the news, Jeff Bezos' company Blue Origin with the rocket explosion in Florida that damaged the launch pad, and then you're still doing this. You can handle those sorts of things. It's kind of hard to comprehend. But if you're worried about AI creating engineering stuff, I mean, the same thing with like automated cars and driving and stuff. You gotta wait and let the stats really kind of speak for themselves, because we do have fears and concerns that AI can go completely nuts and who knows will do what with a rocket. But I mean, humans aren't perfect either. So even stuff we build blows up.
And I gotta be clear when I say this next statement. I'm not accusing fraud or any of that stuff, but I'm getting one of the things I get leery about when tech startup founders start doing something in the real world is like there is this fake it till you make it, and tech has a different level of consequences when something catastrophically blows up. I mean, if you're a tech platform where you promise a bunch of stuff blows up, it's just computer hardware and software and productivity. When physical planes, fail, people die. And the analogy I remember thinking of is we've been down a similar track before. Remember Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, and sort of the warning of this is not like a tech startup. You can't just fake it till you make it. There's real engineering and safety constraints that are hard realities that you can't just bypass. I immediately start thinking in that direction. Like, you're talking about making things that have physical safety components attached to them, right? Yeah. Like, again, I'm not talking. Maybe it's doable, but there is a lot of, like you talked about, a lot of unrealistic goal expectation setting in the tech sphere that people figure it out later. And people talk about how tech, everything goes the right things, right? And they make billions of dollars. They fail like 19 times out of 20 in terms of what they're promising for when they can actually deliver. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He's been promising full autonomous driving since 2015. And the reason he can't deliver it turns out doing physical things in the real world with AI and letting AI make those judgment calls pretty hard, right? Like,
Right.
not yeah. I want to hear it. I also think that the name he chose is a little ominous because we all know how Prometheus ended. Like it didn't end well for Prometheus, guys. If you go read your Greek literature, he had a rough go out of that one decision.
Yeah. I'm hoping, and as with anything still at this stage in AI's advancement, is that it is still heavily governed and monitored by humans and tested.
This is all on the hope valuation, though. I think that's what I'm hearing. Like, this is I don't see, this is not going to materialize. This is more of like, and this is just an underpinning of the overall financial reality we live in, which is, unrealistic expectations. Hope drives the market more than actual real profitability or tangible progress does anymore. We've unhinged that, about 10 years ago, I feel like is when it really started. And now, especially since COVID, this is just another example. Bezos, to be fair, has an amazing track record. If he built one of the most profitable companies on the planet, one of the largest ones too. Mm-hmm. So that's, again, when you put that name behind it, investors recognize name. So I would say Bezos putting his name on is probably the only reason we have this level of a company. That being said, if he can materialize this, I see a lot of application, right? Imagine being able to reiterate new jet designs every few months and get them improved instead of waiting decades.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Well, that would be awesome.
This is how I get like the space elevator. This is how I get to get the elevator to the moon, right? Like this is it. This is the path. All right. Well, moving into our next story for the week, and this one is our Inside the Stack series, where we're going to talk about a problem that we see in the businesses worldwide that we service. And this one, the headline is "You logged in, so did somebody else." If you click the link, type your password, and approve the MFA prompt, usually that's all you think of, right? When you log in, especially to Microsoft. I'm good. Log in, go about your day. The problem is we're seeing more and more by doing that, an attacker just did the same thing with you. It's called Adversary-in-the-Middle, where someone basically impersonates a authentic login page. It looks exactly like your normal Microsoft login, and they pass through all your credentials to Microsoft. So from your perspective, you don't see anything different unless you're really looking carefully. It looks like you just logged into Microsoft, and guess what? It actually logs you into Microsoft. So you, again, just keep going about your day. But by doing that, an attacker can actually just grab your creds, grab your MFA, grab your session, and they've got the same access you do now. No need to know your password. No need to know you. No need to phish you. No need to do any of that. They have it. Yeah. And the aftermath is usually quiet by design. They'll set up things like hidden inbox rules once they get that kind of access. Hey, I want to start emailing people using your identity, and anyone who responds to it, put it in like a folder that you'll never notice. They'll register their own MFA methods using your access so they can persist and keep logging in again without alerting you. And they'll watch your email for the next invoice, right? They'll try to redirect invoices and financial fraud. That's a doozy. This is a very low effort, high reward mechanism we're seeing across the board. Yeah. So what's the fix, right, Patrick? Where are we looking at here?
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's the fix here?
The thing.
Uh-oh. I might have lost Patrick.
There we go. Am I back?
You are back. Go ahead. Try again.
The thing that I've come across with people that will ask, like, what's the solution? People will ask what the solution is, or how do you identify this? It's similar with AI slop. There's so much stuff out there. How do you know what news is actually real? So, having what you need to get to, the resources that you need to get to for your organization saved as favorites, those are the ones you go to, not following links that are sent to you, an invitation or a warning sign that comes up on various websites. They're getting more and more clever these days on trying to mask what is actually happening, where they're taking you. So you have your places that you go to and be extra cautious. The places I've seen this the most, compromise with clients that we've worked with, is when they're off the typical machine that they work on. Maybe they're at a cafe on a public machine or a side job, something
I
that
actually
has
am going to push back heavily on that. I don't think you can stop visiting these sites anymore. I think it will get you no matter what, because it's just gotten so easy to implement. I think the age-old be street smart is not really a good move anymore, because it's not realistic, especially for your staff. And it's what you're saying makes sense, but in the last 2 years, what I'm seeing is like sometimes there's a genuine button that you normally go to on a website to log in, and that button has gotten compromised because someone figured out how to exploit a vulnerability on the web page, and now it redirects you to a fake Microsoft, or before you were clicking an SSO, right? Like there's legit things where we can't stop it. And what I think the fix is more phishing resistance. So first off, login screens, making sure that you're talking about Bezos, right? Protect your login screen. Don't go on public Wi-Fi's. Yes, all of that. But I think phishing resistant multi-factor authentication, like passkeys and hardware keys, tighter conditional access policies that determine who can log in beyond just the username and password, and monitoring for strange activity. All of this is needed. And so with that, if you're not sure whether your logins would survive an attack like that, if you think your staff are taken to a legit sign-in page of Microsoft or Google for that matter, and they would just click the button, not think about it, if they can fall for that, we've got a special offer for you. We actually can test it. We can test your current security. We can test your current config policies, see if you're protected as is with our cybersecurity and IT risk analysis. You can get it by scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Boop, 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 boop. And we actually have a special promo for our listeners. You can get a discount today, $50 off if you're watching this podcast, for using the promo code RISK50. That's promo code RISK50. That'll knock $50 off the analysis. It is a quick, under 15 minutes of your time way to check to see if you're actually properly able to defend yourself against someone just simply redirecting your login screen to an identical page. All right. On that note, moving on. Switch this back. Whee! Okay, so open the next article, and the headline here, and Patrick, this is your headline right here. Technology. OpenAI built a dress model, or sorry, a dress rehearsal. Wow. Its own model cannot tell it. That's a different kind of thing, right? This one's kind of weird, but I think you got a grasp on it. Can you take us through why we should care about this?
Having used AI for a length of time, long enough to see various models from ChatGPT 3 up to the current one, you've seen some patterns occur, and you every time a new model comes out, you're hopeful it's going to be the next best thing, and then you use it for a little while, and you kind of go, it's still kind of hallucinating. It's it's making the same sort of mistakes over and over again. I like this approach. What they're basically saying here is the problem with traditional models is that the models themselves are becoming kind of, I don't want to use the word aware, but they're sensing that
they recognize the patterns of when they're tested. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
They behave totally different when you put them in test scenarios than when they behave in the real world.
And just like when they give you answers, they're giving the testers the answers that make it sound like it's learned and knows everything. But here the testers have found creative ways to go back and trick the AI to not know that it's testing, and give it some more real world examples and verify its answers and check its work, so to speak, so that these newer models that are coming out are starting to be more accurate and more what we expect them when they say that they've made improvements. They're not just relying on the benchmarks, the numbers, the performance. We're kind of moving past the faster, token efficiency is still there, but we're looking at real world. What does this mean to me as the user impact and improvement?
I mean, you and I both try out the new models almost as soon as they're ready on the commercial market, like especially I think with Claude lately, but even when we were on ChatGPT using the new GPT 5.5 and stuff like that. And I will tell you from experience, there is what OpenAI and Anthropic say it should behave like, and there's real world experience, and there's always a delta between those two. This is not behaving the way you said it would, Anthropic.
So disappointing.
Opus 4.8 was a great example of that, right? Like one thing I picked up with it, they didn't say it was going to do, but it absolutely does, is it tries to get lazy where like it'll try to shortcut things a lot and say, I don't want to do all this work. I'll just take the shortest path there, right? And it shortcuts even when you tell it not to, right? That was not a thing that they said, hey, this is a behavior of Opus, right? It was a real world performance issue. The goal here, I think, is just to shrink that delta. I don't think it's going to go away, but to get more accurate lab results so we can give the AI models companies can give people, especially businesses, a realistic expectation of this is how it perform under these scenarios before they go and push it into production and start rolling it out to their customers and their staff. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I think it'll cut down on a lot of the unmet expectations and some of the hallucination, at least giving people's ability to foresee areas of where the AI might hallucinate or behave unpredictably. Okay.
Speaking of new models.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Then this. I honestly debated putting this as the headline, but I feel like this is just a story we need to talk about in detail. So, government, the headline is, and unless you're living under a rock, you've probably heard about this already. Washington put an AI model on the same shelf as missiles and microchips.
Yeah. Can they do this? I mean, this is an interesting one, and this is playing out in the courts because this is government intervention, like direct, not, gosh, when you're playing politics, it's, did I really say that? Did I really say you couldn't? But strongly worded letters in government seem to make a lot of sense. So when Fable comes out, obviously we were all jumping on it, trying it out, seeing what it could do, and it was pretty cool.
Tokens.
Eating tokens. Feed me more.
I coded one thing, and I said night when the usage, like you get more. For those of you who don't use Claude, you get more usage at nighttime than you do during the day because it's off hours. And I code saying I literally burnt like half of my my $250 Claude Max subscription. I burnt half my window in like 25 minutes. I was like, so many tokens.
all the Claude Facebook groups, everything. Everybody was like, Fable just ate me alive, and I'm not done with what I wanted to do, but it was so awesome. And then all of a sudden, one day, it's gone. This government was claiming that there was a way to get around the safety guardrails, which a lot of people were commenting that Fable had really tight, very strict, almost too strict guardrails on what it was allowed to do because it is so powerful. But the government was claiming that they had proven that they could bypass it, and then it could be used as an attacker to go and create the mass attacks that we were hearing with Mythos, because essentially it's sort of kind of about the same thing.
I mean, this is a law that was passed like Vietnam post World War II era. So first off, there's a big disconnect of what the law was written for versus what it's being used. And this is not new. Like they had the same problem with encryption back in the 90s where they did the same thing. Here's the part that kind of gets my goat. You know who reported this quote unquote jailbreak that got the government all riled up? Amazon. Guess what Amazon's a significant investor in? OpenAI. I feel like this is a little bit of sneaky economic underplays. I have no proof. This is just my personal take on it. But this feels like, because when you look at what they're actually worried about, they figured out how to jailbreak it in one specific scenario with one specific set of like queries and prompts. And we basically have universally accepted 100% protection against jailbreaking any of these models and their guardrails. It's not going to happen, guys. That's
right.
It's antithesis to the very concept of a large language model. It doesn't work.
Right.
Like it's a, I don't want to say it's a physics problem, but it's in that same classy of we can't change that. There's no human thing we can do to change that other than what Anthropic did, which is they just turned off the model. Right. Like that's really the only solution.
Yeah. And it's not going to last that long. It's not.
And all the models are going to be there. We're
not. Well, that's a counter argument. That's the crux of the counter argument.
Are you going to cut off AI across the world? Because if you do, you're going to cripple the U.S. economy. And I mean Europe. The amount of posters I've seen from CEOs out of Europe saying we need to rethink using Claude. If the U.S. government can just turn it off on a whim, and we're building our business on that, we might need to look at actually like going local hosted or building out a European competitor and using that. You've introduced a lot of artificial competition, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like Amazon. I feel like Amazon's playing sneaky here because this will hurt Claude's business for no fault of their own. There's a lot of criticism I can throw at Anthropic. This one, I'm like, they were stuck.
I have a feeling it's coming back pretty quick, but they did. It was sort of a PR move. It's look, we're erring on the side of caution. We do care. It depends on how long they allow this to be controlled.
There is one criticism I'll give Anthropic. I take back what I just said. There is one. It just popped in my mind, and it's true. Anthropic has been trying to, in my opinion, this is my hot take. I think they're trying to use regulatory lock-in to lock in their lead because they're saying regulate us while they're ahead. Right. Basically, this is funny. They couldn't argue against it because they've been sending the government over and over in all the PR messages. We want to be regulated. We want you to have a say. We want the government to have controls. And when the government actually forced itself, if you look at their PR statement, they really had to couch it with, we accept and embrace the guy. Like this backfired on them spectacularly. And the reason they're pushing for regulation, guys, it's not out of your best interests. They are ahead. Right now, Anthropic, by all measures, is ahead in a lot of areas. If they can get regulation on development, they'll lock in their lead through artificial means. That is the current cynical view of why they're pushing for that. So I will criticize Anthropic on, you got what you asked for, technically.
Right. To be a fly on the wall. This
is going to deepen the tension, I think, between Washington and Anthropic. They've been at odds for a while.
Yep.
I mean, the biggest challenge is there is no way for Anthropic to remediate this, or any AI company to mediate this.
No.
Like, we can't realistically consistently tell whether someone using the product is a foreign national the way the internet's currently built. Like, yeah. Does the government now play winners? Like, that's what this essentially is, right? Like, if they can arbitrarily shut down any of the AI models, they're picking and choosing winners in this market.
Yeah. This is really what you see when it's moving too fast. Politicians can't keep up with it. We're in the current of the flood already with AI. They're trying to figure out how to do something, and nothing's really going to work. I mean, it is going to do what it's going to do. Development's going to continue.
I don't get political on this show, nor will I ever, but this is the reason why I am a big believer that the age bracket of our politicians needs to move down. The average age has moved down like 15 years as a minimum, because they are the people that are going to decide the future of this. And it's very apparent, both Congress, the administration, even the Supreme Court to a lesser extent, they have so little idea of what this technology is and how it's going to play out and how it plays out currently in modern life. And these are the guys that are going to decide the rules that govern it. I'm looking at this and going, this is going to dictate the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of our life. I really like someone who has investment in this to actually be the ones digging in, figuring out what the heck this is and how do we control it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some good consultations in there, and they get a little bit more wisdom in the process.
Yeah, let's trust the lobbyists. I say probably the most universally.
Everybody's a cynic.
Listen, I'm being nonpartisan here. This is great. I think we all agree. Like, yeah, we 100% trust our lobbyists to have our best interests in heart as a communication. Moving on, so this doesn't become a political. I don't need this to be a political hotspot. Moving on to security. This one actually is about as non-political as it can get. A firewall is exactly one job, guys. So the headline is 30,000 firewalls got hacked, and the master key was the factory password. It is exactly one job, a firewall, which is to keep the wrong people out of your network. That's why it's called a firewall. And 30,000 of them, and according to this story, failed that interview. The reason is almost too simple to be scary, which is researchers at SOC Radar, which is a security research company, disclosed a global campaign they have named FortiBleed. The threat actor, believing to be a Russian-speaking gang, has quietly been compromising Fortinet firewalls, which are some of the most popular firewalls in the small business, medium-sized business ecosystem, and VPN gateways, and building a verified database of working logins for more than 30,000 devices across 194 countries. That's up to 30,000 businesses or organizations. The victim list includes banks, hospitals, telecom operators, universities, government agencies, and energy companies. So, yeah, all the big sensitive guys right there we're going to care about. And the United States is the second most affected country behind India. So we are unduly talked. And it's no exotic 0 days. It's literally just, hey, here's the known default passwords for these firewalls. Let's scan the internet to find FortiGate firewalls and try to see if we can log in. That's the campaign.
Yep. And you know who this is going to affect the most? I mean, it is going to affect big companies and managed companies too. I'm sure there's plenty of those out there that haven't changed default passwords. But unmanaged businesses that just get a firewall, throw it on the shelf, and
They paid the IT guy one time. He said, "Buy this thing," and it works. So they never question it. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I mean, this is an access campaign, guys, which means they are trying to get persistence so they can figure out how to monetize it, whether they sell it to other candidates. That could happen. That seems to be what they've been insinuating is the threat actor might be trying to build a database they can sell, right, to other attackers, or they're going to weaponize themselves, but they can figure out monetization after they gain access. Basically, anything you do on your network, every website you visit, every print job you send, if they have this kind of access, they can see it and they can start quietly compiling ways to look at it. I mean, I've seen emails get compromised this way because emails often are unencrypted. Like you can read emails and flight as they arrive in inboxes. That's a thing. This is
completely unseen. And like you said, you don't even know what's happening.
I will put some
visible.
I will put some ownership on FortiGate, though. There is ways to mitigate this, i.e. of making master default passwords expire or forcing people to change them on the first login when you log in to actually reconfigure the firewall. Like, unless these are devices that are literally just out of the box, just plugged in and left alone, just putting a mandatory password change on the first login fixes 99% of this.
Yeah.
FortiGate could have done that. I'm going to blame them a little bit on that.
Yep, for sure there is that, and I'm going to avoid going down the cynical path of human nature. That even if you do that, it's still going to.
Oh, there's still going to be people who just shove it in. There's still going to be people just shove it in their network, like small businesses especially, and never ever configure it because it works out of the box and like good enough. They'll just plug in the cables. But I don't think 30,000 businesses, including hospitals, fall in that camp. I think if you just set it up to, hey, you logged into the default creds, you have to update them now before you can go any further, right? That one window.
Well, the very, very secret, secure, and not well-known password of capital P password 1 exclamation point.
Or admin. That's my personal favorite. Admin. Yeah, admin. Username is admin. Password's admin. Yeah. I'm sitting over here developing something, as you know, and literally the first thing I said is, okay, there is a default admin. The very first login you use it, you must change the password before you go any further. Oh man!
With several prompts of, did you write that down? Did you document that in your?
It requires you. I probably do need to put something like that on there. I can absolutely see that. Yay! Don't delete the. Did you make sure you know this thing can delete the database? Don't delete the database.
That would be good use for AI. Just to throw that, since this is an AI show, like anytime you create a password, have an AI be like, that's actually pretty easy to guess. You should maybe consider doing something else. That'd be kind of handy. Throw that into your password change prompts.
I would agree with that. Well, let's go to the last story for this week, I guess. And this is all you, man. You have a lot of opinions about doctors. I know that from talking with you.
Yeah.
So headline is
in that area.
The doctor will see you now and might even look up from his keyboard when he sees you.
Right. So this helps avoid the pajama time that doctors are burning out with. Is taking and scribing notes and making decisions long after the appointment is over is a lot of work. Teachers experience it. We experience it. But doctors, I think, are probably one of the worst. They've got complicated. They're trying to cram so many visits in a single day that they don't have time to take notes in between each one, really good quality ones. So a lot of times they do it after hours. Well, now, I mean, one of the things that is very popular, everybody at some point has had an AI note-taking scribe device ad on Facebook. I would be surprised if somebody's hearing this for the very first time, but it's very useful in this space to be able to take notes while you're doing it, so you can focus. This is a technology I actually like.
Everybody likes it. Nobody likes on a call having to sit there and split your focus, even if you're doing cliff. So what I see a lot of doctors doing in this, from my perspective, whenever we see them or deal with them, is they're like cliff noting it, right? Like they're putting little tiny cliff notes as they talk to you because they need something to remember when they sit down at pajama time, like you talked about, and actually flesh out their main notes. But even with that, their focus is split, right? And I know the exact same thing. I'm on a phone call, I'm taking notes. Am I really paying attention to what you're saying? Like, no.
This brings in opportunities for people that would otherwise not make great doctors for that very reason. Like I certain personalities. I've watched this. And I'm big on the Myers-Briggs thing. There are certain personalities where the brain is an excellent problem solver and a good listener, but cannot split the tactile note writing piece. Like I'm one of those people. If I'm doing a task physically with my hands and writing a note, my brain will shut off new input while I'm doing that. So I've always been a terrible note taker. I just can't do it and effectively listen to somebody, but I can give you my attention and I can solve your problem in very creative ways. And doctors, I think, need to be great at that. So this allows somebody, and just to bring this in as a summary, is the scribe is listening to the conversation, transcribing it, and you can have AI already give you summaries and analyze it in the ways that work for you in seconds. I mean, it very fast. But you can focus on the attention on the actual human being. And this is a very good spot for an application of AI.
I agree. I honestly, I had no notes on this one. The only thing, I mean, there's a couple concerns I had, obviously, and I even put in the article, like doctors are still required to review the notes by hand, make sure, because AI does hallucinate, right? Like make sure it makes sense, make sure it lines up with your own experience. Like it's not just and this is the only thing I think I'm a little concerned about, but I think we have enough guardrails in our healthcare system to protect against this, which is like just copy paste, right? Don't think about just upload it. I think malpractice alone would make that most doctors would say no, I'm not going to do that. So I think we're okay there. And yeah, I mean, honestly, more attention to the patient. Like if anyone's had to get like something hard diagnosed, the frustration of having seen multiple doctors multiple times where they finally get the right diagnosis, right? I think being able to put more attention on the patient in every consultation to really think critically and try to get to correct diagnosis faster, that's a net win for everybody.
Oh, and I've had to give you a personal experience. We went to a place. We had a child that had been bitten by a tick and had clear signs of Lyme disease starting with that bullseye. And one of the solutions is a shot. I'm sitting there. It was a telehealth situation, and I'm listening to the amount of CCs that they're going to shoot. I'm not an expert, but I heard him say 10 CCs initially, and when he came back, it was 10x that. I might be like 1 to 10, but the dose that he was about to inject my 6-year-old son with was 10 times what the doctor initially said. And it's like, to be able to catch that on the fly and say, review that number again before you stick that.
No,
really
I have zero notes. I think this is our positive story of the week. It really is. Like it seems to be AI is finally starting to make the right inways. I mean, this is where it's going with the rest of our industry. Healthcare is very conservative for AI adoption of technology because they have such high consequences when things go wrong, right? Like it really is. And so we're finally starting to see inroads. Last week's story was the same thing, right? Like lung cancer diagnosis. AI in very strategic, thoughtful ways really is making consistent inroads of improving healthcare efficiency and patient care. And because they're so cautious because of malpractice, right? It seems to be when they adopt something, I just have few notes on it. I really do. Like, there's exceptions, but that's how I feel like with this.
Agreed.
I see some other industries adopting AI en masse. I'm like, that'll never work because you didn't think through it for more than 10 minutes. This one, I'm like, yeah, okay. Neat. All right, so our takeaway this week, AI is still moving along. I think we're going to start seeing so much more, and we predicted this 2 months ago. Government regulation and finance stories are really going to get interesting this year. Government, it seems to finally be hitting, right? Like I think we hit that critical mass, or we're at the very beginning of that critical mass we talked about, where somebody in a power is going to start throwing their weight around because there's no world where we can just let this go unguided. Whether that's the executive branch, the federal government, or the state level, that's going to change week to week. And I really do want to see over the next few weeks, like Bezos is interesting.
Yeah.
If you don't have the Bezos level personality brand, like AI and financing right now is just an open question. And I think the next few months with SpaceX has already gone public, Anthropic and OpenAI, we're going to see how markets react to the current AI economy and get a lot more details. And that affects us. That's our 401ks. That's the overall job market. That's everything. So Bezos is honestly, in my opinion, one of the exceptions to the rule right now. He's got the weight to get these investments, but what I'm seeing across the board is, a little more trepidation in terms of overall CapEx is not slowing down. The amount of people willing to throw their money into CapEx on that seems to be kind of slowing down.
Yeah, and he's the type that would take the innovation and make it a sustainable business.
He's got the name recognition and the historical experience to get big names like JP Morgan and BlackRock to take him seriously. But most startups don't have that, right? Like that's
right.
There's only one Bezos. There's only one Elon Musk. Most startups have to, I'm curious to see if this is just an anomaly, what he's doing, or is it part of the indicative market? I know at the beginning of the year, we were super excited. Everyone saw Anthropic's amazing revenue growth and AI. I went to a talk in March and it was literally like, we're gonna dump all of our money into that. And there's still a little bit of that, but it does feel like at the top of the market. Yeah, top of the market, especially Gemini, SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI. There's a reason they're going public. The amount of private investment they can raise at this point is basically dwindled down, and so much that we could be seeing full cycle at this point, and I'm really curious where the cycle ends. All right. Well, if you have any questions or you want to stay up to date on AI Stories Weekly, we've got you covered. 7 minutes or less, you're going to sound like per week, 7 minutes or less read, you're going to sound like you know what the heck you're talking about when it comes to AI and daily life. Scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner to subscribe to our Artificially Informed newsletter. It's literally what we talk about on this podcast. But if you're more of the auditory type and you like listening to two guys yak about everything AI, check out our podcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Subscribe on any of the social medias you're seeing it. We're here weekly, guys. Stay safe out there and have a great holiday weekend.
Peace out.